Arg! Ahoy there, matey! Welcome aboard the world of boating.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
I was just looking into buying a boat of my own.
Call World of Boating toll-free now at 1-888-88-28-BOAT. That's 1-888-828-BOAT.
And welcome. This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate, Captain Patrick Barry, the boater, rounding out this crew on our first World of Boating broadcast for December 2023. We're hot and heavy into the holiday shopping season and trying to make the best of it. We're going to amuse you a little bit with some Christmas tunes, our own little twist on them.
I thought you forgot about that.
Oh, heck no.
Don't say we.
Yeah. Everybody's equally guilty. Or to blame, or can take credit, depending on their perspective. But that's, just what you do during the season, at least what we do. Now, it's remarkable I'm even here this week because, I'm kind of a big deal. Patrick knows this, Barry knows this, and now the world knows this because yours truly is debuted on Amazon Prime this past week on a TV show called The Cruise, which follows the crew that runs the Virgin Voyage cruise ship, the Scarlet Lady. And it's now airing on Amazon Prime. And guess who has featured prominently, not once, not twice, but 3 times throughout the season? It's mostly the top of my head. I think
as an extra, just like in your big Tornado or Sharknado movie.
Well, you're right. I was in Sharknado 3, a blockbuster movie. This is, a step down. This is reality TV.
They gave you a drink ticket and said, thank you for sharing your head.
Actually, they didn't even do that.
Oh,
let me tell you what happened.
Okay.
Barry will appreciate this. So, we've been on the Virgin Voyage cruise ship a couple times now. I'm actually getting ready to go again in 3 weeks. And we went because they have an itinerary that goes from Miami to Bimini. And I wanted to do some diving over in Bimini, and it ended up that we saw this cruise option and decided, heck, let's just do that. Then we got our food and accommodations covered. It was kind of a financial thing. It made it very easy and convenient to take their cruise ship a couple years ago, and we did that, and it's kind of turned into a thing. But I think it was the first cruise we were on, they were filming something because the Scarlet Lady was brand new pretty much at that point. And, I don't even remember, it's been so long, what was going on other than they had a sign up, say, hey, there could be some filming going on this week, blah, 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 blah. Didn't really think nothing about it, right? And didn't pay much attention to what they were doing while we were on the boat. We were doing our thing, having a good time. And so I'm cruising through Amazon Prime this past week, and this new show pops up called The Cruise, which was filmed on the Scarlet Lady Virgin Voyage cruise ship. And I'm like, well, heck, I'll watch that. I've been on it a couple times. It'll be kind of fun. And so I'm watching it with my daughter and, just paying, half paying attention. And all of a sudden she goes, hey, stop, rewind that. I think I just saw you. I mean, get out of here. No, you didn't. And I just kept going. I totally ignored her. And,
of course.
and so I had sent the link or, a text to my cruising buddies like, hey, they got this new show on Amazon Prime. You ought to check it out. Not thinking anything about it other than, hey, we're going to go on this boat again in a couple weeks. Might be a good little thing to check out. You might see some people from the crew and that kind of thing, but not thinking anything about us being in it. And sure enough, one of them pops back to me the next day, says, yes, you could see us on episode 2 about 22 minutes in, Greg. I'm like, what? And sure enough, my daughter was correct. That was us eating dinner, or actually we were eating breakfast. So it was like, oh, okay, now the crew is getting ready for the next day while the sailors are eating breakfast. And then you see myself, my buddy CJ, and James having breakfast. I'm kind of looking down, so you see the top of my head.
Yeah.
And which is probably good. You didn't get full frontal. You're welcome.
They're sitting like civilized cruisers, and you got your face right in that bowl.
I'm focused on eating, which is one of the things you do.
Putting the food in.
Yeah, on a cruise ship.
Okay.
So there you go. So once again, it didn't air once. It aired 3 times throughout the 8 episode season. So yeah, I am kind of a big deal, and you're welcome that
Oh,
I even
yeah.
showed up today. To wade through the world of boating with Captain Patrick and Barry the boater. It's just the kind of upstanding individual I am, and I feel that I should give back.
Thank you, Greg.
Patrick, noticeably quiet. I don't know
He's
if it's because
saving
he's
his voice for good stuff.
yeah, slightly under the weather. That might be it. But yeah, there you go.
It wouldn't matter whether I was under the weather or not. I have nothing positive to add to that travesty of an opening.
Look, I got proof that I'm a boater, and so you guys can suck it.
You've got proof that you're a passenger.
I was on a
and you
boat.
paid well for it.
On a
No,
very
I
I
nice.
think Barry, if I'm
ship.
not mistaken, I think he referred to himself earlier as a sailor.
Is a
No, that's what Virgin Voyage calls all their passengers. They call them sailors. It's just a Virgin Voyage.
That's just stupid.
shtick. Well, I mean, you can watch the show and decide for yourself. It's
Oh,
just what they do. Yeah.
Real quick, remember we discussed that beautiful sailboat that
Bezos.
his name Bezos. It's
Yeah.
docked in Fort Lauderdale. I
Is
think I may
it?
take
Really?
Yeah, I may take Surprise out and just
go
to get
take a
some
look?
pictures of her.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, what was the name of it again? Cora
The
or something like that?
Koras. Yeah, Koru. Or,
Yeah. And
But
so we were
what's
talking about
funny
this
is-
last week. It's the largest or tallest sailboat in the world now that Jeff Bezos just took delivery of, I guess.
Mhm.
And you're saying it's anchored right now off of Fort Lauderdale for the holidays.
It's in Port Everglades. Yeah.
How about that? Yeah, go over there.
Absolutely.
It's even thumb a ride.
No, sure. And then you'll see me on the news with me
Right.
in handcuffs.
Yeah,
What-
I
what
was on the cruise. Barry's going to end up on Cops.
Yeah, right. What I thought was cool is the support vessel.
Yeah.
The dinghy for this ship
Right?
is how much again? Because I said $75 million. And then the dinghy has its own dinghy, which is the launch to the Kourou.
Interesting. Okay.
It's-
So the dinghy has a dinghy?
The dinghy has a dinghy,
All
and the
right.
Kourou has a dinghy that is $75 million.
Actually, the Virgin Voyage Scarlet Lady is probably just maybe a few feet longer than his boat.
I don't know. I'll look it
May
up
not
for
be.
you.
I don't know. I mean,
No,
that's a
no.
big ass vessel. This Jeff Bezos vessel from that we saw
Mhm.
last week. But anyway, so yeah, it's down there. Who knows for how long? But it's maybe they're docked there for the holidays. And I mean, in the Winterfest boat parade with all the boat Christmas lights happening in a couple weeks, maybe they're
Yeah,
gonna.
but that's going to be further north. I think they start at the New River. That's where they
No, their
line up.
boat parade starts at the bow of Jeff Bezos' yacht.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
right. 30
And
minutes
they make
later,
a whole circuit around it.
Right.
Takes 5 hours, is what I heard.
Okay. Well, that's probably accurate. Yeah. So there you go. I mean, me and Jeff Bezos we're kind of big deals. Yeah, we've been out on doing a lot of boating stuff lately. I don't know if Barry can say that. He hadn't even taken his own personal vessel out. But
no,
maybe,
I have not been out in a while.
But maybe this will be the incentive you need to just get out
I-
there and go see the boat. See if you can.
I could have gone out, today, but
Yeah.
I felt really bad for Patrick that he'd have to deal with you by himself. It's just
there you
too much
go.
for him.
Well,
So the Scarlet Lady is 909 feet. So
Okay.
it's 500 feet longer than Jeff's boat. He has to work on that then.
yeah, I guess so. But his is a sailboat. So
It
it's
is
the
beautiful.
tallest
I'd
sailboat
put
in the
cannons
world.
I would put cannons on each side of it,
Yeah,
though.
I would
It
just
really
go over
needs
there
some
and take a
cannons.
look at it, Barry. Even if you didn't get your boat in the water, wouldn't you want to go over there and take a
No, I
gander?
can get a much better look from the boat.
I would agree. You'd get a better look from the water, but heck, you're right there. You ought to just go down to the shore.
Right,
And,
I'll just drive into Port Everglades, go
Yeah.
through the security checkpoint, say,
Right.
"Hi, can I go see Jeff's boat?"
yeah,
But
dress up
Barry,
as
I-
Santa or something, and act like you're there to deliver a present to the boat.
Sure.
Now,
know.
Barry, what I think you should do is enter the water about 2 miles down with your scuba gear
Ah, there you go.
and then stealthily make your way up towards the boat.
Mm.
Right.
I don't think they'll have any detection equipment whatsoever.
Yeah, but chances are Bezos has those Russian dolphins that
In that
protect
case, I'm
his
gonna wear-
vessel underwater, and they blow you up and stuff. It's a thing. It's a thing. All right, more coming up on the world of boating. We'll get on track eventually. Stay close.
You're listening to the World of Boating Radio Network.
explorer in the other 2/3 of your world. Be the buddy who takes the kids in the aquarium instead of just to it. Be adventurous. Be amazed. Be a diver.
Even Keatley wasn't ready for me, or anything that followed. Chased by a police department, led by his ex-girlfriend, and hunted by brain fork-wielding Fijian assassins, it's everything he can do to keep from getting locked up, killed, or worse. Kava Screw is available as an ebook for $2.99 at Amazon.com. Kava Screw. Put a brain fork in him. He's done.
Hosting a radio show about scuba diving and boating is one of the best gigs on the planet. It's actually part of my job to check out and report on cool new products I personally use to enhance my diving and boating adventures. However, I do believe in sharing the joy, and this is why we've added Nanook protective hard cases to our list of products you can now purchase on the merchandise page at scubaradio.com. Nanook cases are designed to protect the most sensitive equipment in the harshest environments. Underwater photographers, listen up. From their high-impact NK7 resin to their exclusive Power Claw latches, Nanook has raised the bar for those of you that demand the best protection for your gear. Plus, Nanook protective cases cost less than similar products currently on the market. The company has been around for over 15 years, but it's new to the U.S., so we've made a small number of Nanook cases available exclusively for you at a special introductory price on the merchandise page at scubaradio.com. Go there now and check out Nanook, the evolution of protection.
Successfully navigated the Sea of Commerce and now are clear to cruise with the world of boating.
I do like the water.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
The sun, the sea air, good friends.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
My tree.
So what's the matter with you?
Look what you've done to my tree.
It is an ugly tree anyway.
Baby, I wanna trim you.
What?
Baby, I wanna trim you.
She knew about this.
Baby, I wanna trim you.
Yes.
Beautiful Christmas tree.
We all discussed it.
I'm gonna bring along my hatchet.
That's what I would do if I were you.
My beautiful Christmas ball.
Just picture this.
I'll sprinkle my snow up on your tree and hang my mistletoe on your wall.
I'm confused.
Baby, I wanna trim you a beautiful Christmas tree.
How are we gonna get the star on top?
I got it.
Now, come on, girl. I wanna trim your tree.
Well, personally, I think it's a wonderful idea, too.
Okay. This is the world of boating. Happy holidays to you. Hopefully you're making the best of it with a Christmas tree or God knows what else. I am Greg, your first mate. We got Captain Patrick and Barry the boater rounding out the crew as we navigate the latest boating news and information. And, talk about me being on TV. Yeah, big star of the new reality TV show on Amazon Prime, airing right now, called The Cruise, on the Scarlet Lady Virgin Voyage cruise ship. You'll see me as part of the Breakfast Bunch 3 times throughout the season. Feeding our face.
3 times feeding your faces.
Yep.
They didn't just use the same video. As
they did actually, but
okay, there you go.
Way to ruin the whole thing there.
Oh, stop it!
Come on, Barry.
One day you're going to be really famous.
Well, duh.
It's just not today.
There's other big news in the cruising world. Royal Caribbean just took delivery on the largest cruise ship in the world. Is that right, Patrick? What happened?
That is correct, Greg. You are correct.
That is the
Royal
icon
Caribbean.
of the seas. I'm very
okay. So for the next story.
Well, no, I've seen it. I've wanted to book it. It looks pretty impressive. What do you think? I know you're not a fan, right, Patrick? Is that fair to assume?
I think it is too big.
Yeah.
It's just too big.
Why?
You're gonna have 10,000 people on that boat.
Seriously?
I don't think it's that many, is it? I think it's.
Well, okay. Let me go. Well, he read the story.
I don't know. No, I don't think it is. I don't think it does 10,000. Does it?
Well, you have to include
7,600 guests.
Okay.
And 2,350 crew.
Well, okay.
That's nearly
That is higher
10,000
than
people.
I was thinking it was more like 5,000 passengers. But
Well,
I
the
guess
crew
you're right.
doesn't really count, right?
Of course it counts.
No, they have to go down with the ship if something happens, or is that just the captain?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends who the captain is.
Where's this going to be docked at?
It's a big ass
Fort Lauderdale?
boat. Yeah. Well, I think isn't it going out of Miami? Is that where it's initially cruising from?
January
love it.
27th, it departs for the Caribbean for 7 days.
Yeah.
So it is 20 decks,
Massive.
250,800 ton ship.
Mm-hmm.
Took over 900 days to build.
Right.
And can hold almost 10,000 people, which is basically the population of a small town. So again, too big.
Well,
it's got water slides for Greg.
You don't need water
everything.
slides on a cruise ship.
He does.
Actually, what it has, they have a high dive aerial type show that's
Jesus
located
God
towards
almighty.
the back of the vessel. It's actually a newer version of. Let's see, I've been on the Royal Caribbean's big boats, the Wonder of the Seas, and I don't know. There's a couple of them in this class, and this is like the new biggest one. And it used to be they had this high dive show on the back of these vessels. I mean, they'd be up like 3 stories, and they'd be diving off the back of the boat into this small pool. It's like a classic, almost vaudevillian type of spin.
You could do
Did
that.
they do
right
the
off.
triple Lindy?
Yeah, kind of. I mean,
you
it was
could do that right off. Do
modern-
that off the balcony.
No,
of your
into a
ship.
pool. It was into
Yeah,
a pool on the boat. But the ass end of the boat, the aft, as we say in the boat in boating lingo,
Yeah, the
is
ass.
wide open. And they put on this massive show. It's actually very impressive. But the new one, the Icon, they've enclosed it. So weather won't be as big of a problem for them to execute that show now, I guess, is one of the elements
So
of it.
if there are any crew members they don't like,
When did you become this guy?
What do you mean? I'm just
remember 20
because I
years ago
know.
when I
Don't
met you
hate.
for the
Don't
pond,
hate
was
the
like,
guy.
Man, this guy, I like the cut of this guy's jib. You know, he plays guitar like I play guitar. He plays drums. I play drums. He's got a radio show. I don't, but he's going to let me on his radio show, which was really cool. You know, he seemed to be really kind
That's
of
just called
and then you turned
smarts.
into this. I don't even know, man.
Well, it's boating.
What happened to
It's,
you?
he's become a kid again.
I'm just
No,
saying, just because I have
no, he
experience
hasn't
with
become a
these
kid
type
again.
of boats, I'm sharing my knowledge of these particular type of vessels, and they are
I'm just waiting
impressive.
for someone to do a high dive off the ship and just swim to shore.
Well, that happens every now and then. You see that
Yeah.
in the news. They usually don't find the person afterwards.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, sure, you can be a hater and hate the cruise lines
not
and hate the
hating
cruise
that.
ships and that kind of thing for various ecological reasons. And
the
there may be
largest
some
water park at sea. It
Yeah.
says it right in there.
there may be some validity to that somewhat. I wouldn't necessarily argue that. However, they are mechanical feats that are quite impressive.
All right.
What
All
they
right,
do. They are
let's
pretty
let's
impressive.
look at some of the key features of this cruise ship.
Yeah.
that excites Greg.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's a
It's
big
got
ass boat.
Thrill Island,
Right.
which features a Category 6, which is the world's largest water park at sea,
Okay.
because you need that.
Why not?
It's surrounded by water.
the-
You need that.
This feature will also have a rope course thrill ride that lets guests swing 154 feet above the ocean,
Right. It's a thrill.
a flow rider wave simulator,
Yeah.
and a mini golf course.
Of
Because
course.
that's what you paid all this money for, is to go on this thing as it's transporting you to an island so you can play mini golf.
It's got
On the opposite end of the vacation spectrum, it's got Chill Island, which has 4 of Icon's 7 pools and the very coveted and secretive adults only zone.
Right.
Yes, the large.
Then you can go to the Aquadome, where
Mhm.
guests will find a 55-foot tall water curtain, because you can't find that anywhere else, and the Aqua Theater, which has a cast of robots, skateboarders, divers, and more.
That's what I told you.
robots. So
Hey.
wait, the bow of this thing.
It's
is that-
basically, just so you know, that show is like going to see something in Vegas. out on the water.
I don't care.
Well, okay, that's fine. It's not your thing, but why
They go to
be such a
Vegas.
hater?
Hop
Well,
on a plane for $100 and go to Vegas and go see the show.
Maybe they
Get
want to
on a
go to the
just
Caribbean
massive
instead.
hotel on the water.
Gee whiz. Yeah, you know what? I'll tell you guys. You have not done this, and I bet you if you did it, you'd probably enjoy yourselves.
It's
hard not to
every
like
single minute of it.
Oh, geez. Well, I think you'd be in the minority after you see these things. I mean, if you want to hate it, you can hate it, but I'm telling you, it is an impressive display of ingenuity
Excess
on many levels. Well, I mean, yeah, of course. So is Vegas. Anything you could put that on anything.
But that's why you go to Vegas.
All the pictures of these passengers on this boat are skinny. Yet all they do is show food.
What is your point, Barry?
They are all Sports Illustrated model worthy.
Right. Okay. Well, by the end of the cruise, they won't be all Hollywood and skinny looking. Trust me, I can speak from experience for that too. More coming up on the World of Boating. Stay close.
You're listening to the World of Boating Radio Network.
Traffic sucks, unless you're scuba diving with Mike Scott.
Mike glanced down at his dive computer. It showed less than 50 PSI left in his tank. Probably just a few more breaths.
Or riding shotgun in a thrilling car chase.
One bullet hit the Jeep's windshield, spiderwebbing the passenger side. Mike shifted into second gear and felt the Jeep leap forward. This just got serious.
Escape your commute with audiobooks from author Eric Douglas. Download to your phone. Go to booksbyeric.com or audible.com.
Do you have a message or product you need to share with the boating world? Well, look no further than the World of Boating radio show. Just like you, thousands of boating enthusiasts are hearing this message, and we could be talking about you and your product or service as early as next Saturday. Remember, a terrible thing happens when you don't advertise. Nothing. Go to worldofboating.com, send us an email, and let's get to work to make your marketing message matter.
You have successfully navigated the Sea of Commerce and now are clear to cruise with the World of Boating.
I do like the water.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
The sun, the sea air, good friends.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
There's something swell about the spirit of Christmas, to see what it does to people, all kinds of people.
When you hear bells, when you hear bells are ringing and voices swell, with all the carols singing, that's how you tell. It's time to do the Christmas cha-cha-cha, cha-cha-cha, Christmas cha-cha-cha.
Well, I don't need anything more for Christmas than this right here.
Okay, well, you're in the right place. This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate, Captain Patrick Barry the Boater, rounding out the crew on this holiday week. First show of December. How about that? And we got much more of that.
We need to celebrate, Greg.
What? We need to celebrate what? With Christmas lights for a boat parade or what? What do you think?
No, what was November 30th?
The weekend after Thanksgiving.
No.
It was. It was. I was correct. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but
Technically, I am right.
Technically, you're right. What's in
it was the end of hurricane season.
Yes.
Yay. That is another
let's all
reason.
celebrate, and the 2024 hurricane season begins tomorrow.
Okay. Of course it does.
Well, it's kind of like lobster season and mini lobster season. You kind of get to, you might as well just make it all year long, right?
Well, I wish, but that is not the case.
No, they have to go out and get their
August 1st through the end of
tango.
March.
Hurricane season.
March
lobster
30th,
season.
March 30th is the last day, or March 30th, and then it starts around July for mini season and August for regular.
Okay,
Right.
need to get serious here for a second.
Okay, finally.
Or for a couple minutes.
Let's go.
So, a discussion that, a story that we posted on World of Boating on Facebook, which if you haven't checked us out and become our friend, please do so because we need more friends. And we post one, maybe two stories a day. We don't just clog up your news feed. And of course, you can find these news stories. If you're not a Facebooker, like Barry's not a Facebooker, you can check us out at worldofboating.com. AirTravel.com. We would appreciate it, as would our sponsors, because that's what keeps us on the air. It's just not our good looks and charming personalities. At least that's what Greg says.
Speak for yourself.
So,
That's right. Greg is famous.
Duh.
So, one story that posted and had some discussion with some of our devoted Facebook called contributors. There's a story out of the Great Lakes area where this guy is definitely doing the wrong thing. He's running an illegal charter. Okay. So he's got his own personal boat. He's offering it up for charter, take people out on the water so they can go drink and swim and stuff like that. And he got caught and the Coast Guard and, said, don't do it anymore. He continued to do it. So definitely guys doing the wrong thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. One, he doesn't have a merchant mariner's license, which most people would refer to as a captain's license, which it's really not. It's a merchant mariner's license. Nor was his vessel inspected by the Coast Guard to make sure that it was safe for use for that type of activity or business. So it gets to this. And Greg, as you're working towards your pilot's license still, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And myself, I have my merchant mariner's license. I hold a Class A CDL. I'm pilot escort licensed. I have a lot of that stuff under my belt over the years. And when you do those types of licenses, you have to prove to those agencies, the DOT, the FAA, whomever it is, that you can actually operate safely, whether it's a plane, whether it's a semi, whatever it is. And then and only then, when you pass not only their written test, but also their road test or your solo flight, I guess, are they going to go ahead and issue you a license? With the Coast Guard, with merchant mariners licenses, when it comes to those that are being used for, let's say, recreational purposes, fishing charters, day cruises, things like that, at no time are you required to get in the vessel that you're going to be operating with a member of any federal, state agency or the Coast Guard and prove that you can safely operate that vessel. The only thing that's required for the merchant mariner's license is, can you pass the tests? Can you pass the physical? Can you pass the background test? And if you can, you've got your merchant mariner's license. Now you can go ahead and start your business or use your boat for charter. Now, of course, your vessel's got to be inspected. Your crew has to be trained. They have to meet certain criteria depending on how large the vessel is and what you're using it for.
Mm-hmm.
I advocate for this. I think it's time that if you either have to go full forward and do that type of testing where somebody from the Coast Guard is getting in the vessel with you, or stop requiring licenses for operators of recreational charters and rely solely on the regulatory end of it, which is the inspections, making sure you've got that your vessel is seaworthy, that you've got the proper equipment, that if your vessel is so large that you've got crew on board, that they've been trained, you've got your CPR, you've got your first aid, and as Barry and I were talking, off during the commercial break, that you carry the appropriate amount of liability insurance.
Now,
Okay,
one thing you didn't mention is that if you don't have any type of licensing, if you don't have any type of book learning, his boat, he would advertise it for 20 people, but he had 23 on the boat the last time he was caught.
Yeah, but he can be boarded by Coast Guard any time, can't he?
He could be boarded and checked at any time.
And fined if he's caught without
the problem was
proper
he
stuff.
was caught, and it was the attitude of, I'm going to do what I want to do. And
Okay, well,
that's the
eventually he's
reason
going to
why
end
they-
up in jail if he keeps doing
Well,
that.
That's
though,
where
ain't
he's
he?
heading.
That's where he's heading,
Yeah.
because you can approach it two ways. You can follow the rules, or you cannot.
Right.
Because
Well,
you think you're entitled.
I'm using the story. Understand? I'm not advocating for this guy. What he did was totally wrong, because the law, such as it exists right now, requires that he does these things, and he was doing it illegal. And there's a lot of people that use their boats. They're using them illegally, but should it really be illegal at this point? Because again, if you're not going to go full testing, and actually get in the vessel with them and make sure that they can. What's the point? What's the point of having a merchant mariner's license?
Well, at least,
if you can't prove that you're going to operate, that you know how to operate that particular vessel safely in the manner for the use that you've got it advertised for, versus, look, you don't need one, but you're going to have to abide by all these other things to use it as a business.
So let's take it one step further. When you go to get your driver's license, you do take a state official out to show them that you can drive the car. So yeah,
and you have to have a learner's permit for a year.
So let's say you do that. Okay, so they follow through on that. That's important because there are a lot of people that do follow the rules, and it costs money to follow those rules. So they're getting an unequal, money advantage for these people that choose to do it by breaking the rules. They're getting economic advantage here. While you have people that are following the rules and paying the bills and doing the right thing, you have these other people that are not. They say, F.
Okay, well, that's fine. But if you put in another hoop that everybody has to jump through, whether doing a boating test, well, they're ignoring the first set. Why putting in more restrictions? How's that going to help things?
You're not putting in more restrictions. Those regulations are already there. If you're licensed, if you're a merchant, if you carry a merchant mariner's license,
right? But you're advocating for like a boating license again, right?
No. He is advocating get rid of the license. However, you have to cover it with something else, such as
wait, get rid of the license. There, you mean get rid of the merchant mariner license certification? Yes. But at least the point is at least they're aware of the rules they're supposed to follow. If they don't, if they don't follow them, it's on them.
Do you remember when you read your little driver's license book? You did read. You had to pass the written part of the exam,
right? And so that's kind of what this is, isn't it?
It doesn't mean they're going to actually follow.
Well, of course it doesn't. But if they don't and they get into trouble, guess who's going to be responsible? Them. So I don't know if you need to add any more hoops, but we'll talk more next.
You're listening to the World of Boating Radio Network. Successfully navigated the Sea of Commerce and now are clear to cruise with the World of Boating.
I do like the water.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
The sun, the sea air, good friends.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
I think it's important that all the children out there believe in the magic of Satan.
That's Santa. Typo.
Santa got a sunburn, that's why he's all red. He took off his suit and his big black boots and even the cap on his head.
This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate, Captain Patrick Barry, the boater, rounding out the crew. Okay, so, maybe I don't have this argument quite right, but Patrick thinks evidently that maybe we should eliminate the merchant mariner licensing process because, if you don't have it, that will make things better. I don't understand.
Here's why.
Okay.
For people that are going to use their boats for recreational charter,
right?
Do away with the merchant mariner's license because at no time do you have to prove to the Coast Guard that you can safely operate that vessel.
Okay.
All you have to do is pass a series of tests, pass a physical, pass the background check, and you're good to go.
Right.
So what is the difference between that and a guy or a person who hasn't gone through all those steps and maybe running an illegal charter, okay? But again, knows how to run his boat, knows how to do it safely, everything like that.
Well, maybe he does. If he didn't do the test, how do you know? Other than he's pulled it off, and nobody's
nothing to do. The test has nothing to do with you being able to operate your boat safely.
Well, I mean, it gives you you have to know the rules of the road, rules of the waterways to pass the test. It's a written test.
Seamanship, a basic boat operation.
Exactly. Right.
Tells you how to do that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They got to at least know that much. I mean, there's some incentive
And most
there.
states already require after a certain birth date, year of birth, that you have to have a safe boater ID card,
Yeah.
or you have to have completed that. And that should be a requirement, that at least you've got the basic down. But even those tests don't require anyone getting in a boat with you and showing them that you can safely operate that boat.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike getting your pilot's license, getting a CDL license, anything like that.
Getting your driver's license.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's the same, though. I don't think you're comparing apples to apples when you say you're comparing it to getting your pilot's license or getting your driver's license. I don't think that's the same.
How is it not?
Because it's a boat. You can operate a boat pretty safely, pretty easily. They're not like it's not like rocket science.
Really?
Yeah, really.
You're on a road. You're on a road.
Have you heard of this thing called YouTube?
Yeah.
Well, of course, you can make mistakes. You can do stupid stuff if
not
you are
mistakes.
not.
That's
What do you
how
mean it's not mistakes? Of course there are mistakes.
There's mistakes, and then there is just no
stupidity.
Knowledge. No stupidity.
Here's my thing. It's an underground economy, illegal boat charters. Go ahead, legalize it, do away with that regulation, but hold with the other regulations where the boat has to be inspected.
Okay.
You have to meet certain requirements. You have to carry a certain amount of insurance, because whether you have a merchant mariner's license or not, if you hire this boat or this captain to take you out, it's a roll of the dice.
Well,
and if you're going to
Getting
require,
Ron.
and if you're going to require some type of liability insurance in large enough numbers to take care of people that could get injured on this boat, the insurance company is going to require some kind of certification or something to even insure that boat. It's the same as our homeowners insurance. We get discounts if we have certain upgrades done to the home.
Okay, and I totally get that, but let's flip that around just a little bit, because what you're saying actually is being dealt with right now on the Safe Boating Act that the dive industry is dealing with. The charter operators, dive charter boat operators, insurance rates right now are going through the roof because of an incident a few years ago in California that we've all discussed. And that's based on the fact that these people had an accident. It was the captain's fault. It was negligence. And the victims came back and said that the boat did not have enough insurance or shouldn't have done it, and now they have no recourse. Guess what the fallout of that is? Is the insurance rates for everybody is going through the roof, and guess what happens when that happens? A lot of those charter operators end up going out of business. Because they can't afford the rates, not because they're not avid boaters and not because they don't follow all the rules, but because they cannot afford the insurance.
And that's the same thing that's happening down here. That's the reason why our insurance industry, they had those big special sessions about cutting back on lawsuits and what they called frivolous lawsuits and claims that really had nothing to do with storms.
Right.
And that's supposed to help the cost of our insurance, which has not gone down yet. We'll see what happens. But I do want to get to one more story about Lincoln's Historic, and I'll let Patrick finish that.
Really? That's what you want to end on?
Yeah, I want to end on that.
Because one thing, and please bear in mind, listeners, I did not write the headline. This is straight from the BBC.
Likely story.
These are the refined and cultured people over in England.
Say it with a British voice.
I cannot, not with this cold.
Okay.
Trapped boat rescued from Lincoln's historic glory hole.
Wow, it's historic.
Yes, indeed.
Well, he is old.
So a boat and its owner have been rescued after becoming stuck in a tunnel known as the Glory Hole. The narrow boat became trapped under Lincoln's renowned city center high bridge after suffering an engine failure in fast-flowing water. Firefighters used a boat and ropes to drag the vessel to a safer point further along the River Widham. The stuck boater, Ray Fisher, who definitely looks like he lives on a boat, said, "I didn't have enough power for the water flow and made a mess of it." Which I heard, if you get stuck in Lincoln's Glory Hole, yes, a mess will be made.
Okay, that's enough. Let's move on to another story that's just as disturbing, but, maybe more a little uplifting, more holiday spirit infused in it because it involves Disney. And it's a small world.
Was that you?
It's a boat ride.
There? Yeah.
So let's go straight from Lincoln's Glory Hole to a guy who stripped down and jumped off. It's a small ride boat
Did you guys see the video of that, by the way? I saw the guy.
Was it A Small World?
There was a bunch of video. I mean, because it was like max capacity for the ride because it's the holidays and they're jam-packed. And the guy literally just got up out of his boat in the middle of the ride and then just started walking around the set.
Naked.
It's a Small World. Well, he disrobed halfway through, and then just like sat down. And like people are like in the ride, they stopped the ride, and there's a ton of video out on YouTube for this because everybody had their phones with them. Like, hey, what the hell's going on? And they filmed this guy, and obviously he was out of his gourd, and decided
he was recorded climbing on the portion of the ride that shows dolls. I didn't think those were dolls. I thought those were real actors or children that Disney had basically enslaved.
Yeah.
That shows dolls representing India before he sat down on fabric that mimics water.
Right. Looks like I'll cool off.
All the magic out of Disney with this article.
It was pretty remarkable. Who knows what was going through his mind? I don't think anything logical.
It's a real small world.
A park goer posted to social media, "I am on Small World, and there was a streaker. I cannot believe this is happening."
Yeah.
Well, believe it.
I don't think this was
is the land of magic.
This isn't what I'd consider streaking. This is more a public service announcement of why you should not do drugs or mushrooms are bad or whatever issue he was having. He was just, because he was very calm. It was very interesting watching him. He was just like, hey, I'm just going to do this and sit down in front of this fake waterfall and, disrobe
cool
and
my jets.
cool off.
Yeah. Cool off
like,
a little bit.
Wow. I mean,
they are in a boat in water. He could have just.
Yeah. Well, he did get in the water a little bit, I think, when he got out of the boat.
Just swam all the way down there.
I don't know. The moral of this story is don't do drugs and don't be that guy. Whatever. I mean, it's insane.
And stay out of Lincoln's glory hole.
Oh, I knew he had to get that in one more time. Oh, brother. All right. Well, it's a holiday show. Not. And on that note, we're going to wrap it up till next time. Remember, whether it's sail or motor,
life is better as a boater.
Safe boating, everyone.
Barnacle-bitten swab. World of Boating is brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
Any of this getting through to you, son?
World of Boating is a production of Overboard Entertainment Incorporated.
Computer standing by.
Remember, you can listen live or to archives of past shows worldwide over the internet at worldofboating.com.
Computers can do that?
So tell a friend and come aboard every week for the World of Boating.
This is so great. I can't wait. I'm getting goosebumps. Feel me. Feel me.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
TTFN, ta-ta for now.
The opinions you just heard on the World of Boating are those of the hosts, callers, and guests. They are not necessarily those of any station or network, its management, or advertisers.
What are you being such a weenie for?
While on the water, your safety and the safety of many others depends on you. So boat smart and operate your vessel only after receiving the proper training and instruction for your area.
There is a fine line between genius and madness.
Have any questions or comments? Feel free to do so via the web at worldofboating.com.